Hey guys, so here we have 10 good and bad examples of product design. So we're going to start here first with message. Um, this is a bad example of message because as you can see, it only says original taco. It's, it doesn't really give the message that it's a spice right off the bat. So you kind of, at first glance, you don't get the message. This is definitely a better example of message. Skinny Pop popcorn, as you can see, it's a healthier popcorn, and so right off the bat, you can tell what the message they're trying to get across. Next, for alignment, this is a bad example because as you can see, your eyes kind of have to wander over from left to right to center. It's got the logo in the front, some text over here with the image off to the right, so it's definitely not the best example of alignment. Here is a good example of alignment. Everything's just centered, stacked on top of each other, and you can tell it's real clean. Definitely a better example of that. Next, we have asymmetry. So this is a bad example of asymmetry because as you can tell, it's pretty symmetrical. So yeah, not the best example of asymmetry. With this being a better example of asymmetry because it's got the text over towards the left with the logo above the text, but it's also got a big image of the product on the right hand side taking up, probably half of the design. So this is definitely a better example of asymmetry. Next, we got a gestalt. So this is a bad example of gestalt because as you can see, it's not really cohesive. Things aren't balancing each other out. There's just a lot going on, and it's kind of hard to follow. So this is a bad example of gestalt. This right here is a better example of gestalt. You can tell by the color palette and the text and the simplified look to it that this is definitely very cohesive and a good example of gestalt. Next, we have elimination. This right here is definitely a bad example of elimination because as you can see, there's a lot of text, a lot of, at first glance, you can just see that there's a lot going on here. So this is definitely a bad example of elimination. With this being a much better example of elimination, it's real simplified. It's just got the logo, the type of soup with the little image off in the corner. Definitely a good simplified version. And just to go over the focus process, there's 5 phases: formulate, organize, contrast, and unify. So for the first phase, the principles are message, audience, and sketches. Second phase is shape, proximity, and alignment. For the third phase, the principles are asymmetry, value, and color. Fourth phase is the principles are repetition, rhythm, and gestalt, with the last phase being the principles being evaluation, elimination, and communication.